blue trunks trimmed with gold. He weighed in at 8 stone and 9 pounds and brings a 33-fight record, 29 wins, 17 by way of knockout, and only 3 defeats. He's the #1 contender for the European Super Bantamweight Championship. Would you please welcome, from the beautiful city of Kiev, the Ukraine, Smoking Sergey Devakov. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, he's wearing those famous gold trunks. He weighed in at 8 stone and 9 pounds. He brings an undefeated record of 14 contests, 14 wins, 9 by way of knockout. He's the current undefeated Super Bantamweight Champion of the Europe, making his 4th defense. Would you please welcome, from Barnet, where he is known as the Omen, Spencer Oliver. So, sports fans and Sky fans, here we go then. 12 rounds of boxing for the European Super Bantamweight Championship.
And Devakov has acquired a new nickname today, Smoking Sergey, they're calling him.
Well, he's going to have to be smoking. He's going to have to be on form to keep Spencer Oliver at bay.
Break. Stop, okay.
Oliver quoted as 12-1 on by one bookmaking firm this morning, but having said that, Sheffield Eagles won the Rugby League Challenge Cup and Spurs it 6 goals away from home today, so some strange things are going on. Devakov has trained well for this. Oliver, 23 years of age and yet to taste defeat. So many big plans will go up in smoke if he comes a cropper here in his 4th defence of the European title. Looked very good last time out in stopping Fabrice Beneshu, the grizzled old veteran. Oliver in the yellow, sparkling yellow trunks. Devakov from the Ukraine, 30 years of age, from Kiev, has an Israeli wife and does some of his training there. Oliver feels that Devakov's style is made for him, and he says he can't see it going beyond halfway.
Well, Devakov's tall and rangy, he's got a good chin, he's been around a bit. I think he's a slow starter, so it may be Spencer Oliver's best plan to try and nail him with quick shots early, because he's the sort of opponent that once he starts getting in the fight, once he starts believing, he could make it very difficult for Oliver.
Devakov has never been stopped, and he says never been floored either. It's his 2nd attempt to win this championship. He was beaten by Vincenzo Balcastro in his 1st attempt, and Oliver holds a victory over Balcastro in a European title fight, albeit on a split decision. There's no doubt about it, Devakov is pretty resilient usually and capable.
Yes, he's a useful fighter who could make life very difficult for Oliver. Oliver has to be in very good form. In his last fight, he looked terrific. Barely did a single thing wrong when he stopped Beneshu. And I think he needs to be on that sort of form to do a good job this evening.
Good right to the body from Oliver. Devakov not known as a big hitter or anything like it. Came through the old Soviet Union amateur system. Oliver with masses of fans here. He sold, he says, £50,000 worth of tickets. Inside seats costing 50 quid, so that's over 1,000 tickets. free from France. Good right hand and a left hook, and down goes Oliver. Oliver is floored. Well, he's been a slow starter in the past, but what about this? And Devakov not noted as a puncher, and Oliver in trouble in the opening round. He did seem hurt by that, and I'm not sure he's really over it now. Well, goodness me.
Well, that's a big surprise. He was just standing around. He wasn't really doing anything. Caught with a big shot there. The legs went. I think the first one did some damage to the top of the head, and then caught with that left hook. But I think it could have been the right hand at the beginning. He seemed to shut his eyes, lost his balance, and then the left hook, the legs were all over the place, and down he goes. That's a big surprise, and that's a very bad first round, a very bad start for Spencer Oliver.
And he's shaking his head in the corner, trying to get over the effects of that punch still, and you wonder if a minute is going to be long enough. This really would be a horrible turn-up for Spencer Oliver after that extravagant entrance, and he really does have to get his act together here. He needed all of those 60 seconds. Second round. And we've already had one big shock in this fight, whatever may happen next.
Well, this is the danger moments when the negative thoughts are just going through the head of Spencer Oliver. He has to come back with some good shots and get into this fight, put that behind him. Can't be left thinking about the knockdown.
Well, at the press conference this week, the Devakov camp were warning us that their man had trained assiduously for 3 weeks in London for this fight and done some high-class sparring. And, well, we took it with a pinch of salt because people do tend to say these things to talk up the fight. But the reality is confirming those kind of stories and reports.
Yes, it is. He has been shook in fights early before and showed good character to come back and had good displays. But he looks as if this is going to be a tough test for Oliver.
As it happened against Serge Poilblanc, the Corsican, who was shaken up early on in the fight. Came back to win that on points over 12 rounds. But Oliver already will have learnt a new respect for Devakov, because looking at the fight, you were wondering what Devakov really had to win it with. We now know.
Yes, well, we didn't really think Devakov was anything of a big puncher. Maybe he's just caught Oliver a little cold, a little by surprise, but Oliver now has to do something good, slip into gear, start landing with good punches.
Good body shot from Spencer Oliver. Beginning to get things back together again, but Devakov has been very busy and tried to press home his advantage. Again looked open to a right hand, Oliver there. His defense does still need improving.
Yes, he's got to be careful when he goes to load up for punches. He's just left open. Got to throw his punches in combination so there's no gaps.
Well, if nothing else, that knockdown will have come as a huge wake-up call to Oliver. But can Devakov catch him again like that?
Oliver threw a very good uppercut in there.
Coming up towards the end of round 2 in what's developing as a fascinating battle. And a surprising one. Good right on the bell from Devakov. Spencer Oliver. His trainer is Jackie Lee, who hasn't had all the credit he deserves really so far, former pro. This is action from the second round. Oliver did much better obviously in this second round, but it could hardly have been worse than the first for him.
No, a disastrous first round, but that was much better. He just gritted his teeth. That was a very good uppercut shown there. I thought he probably just won the second round, but it's not easy in there for him.
Spencer Oliver from Barnet in North London, the defending European super bantamweight champion. The blue trunks of the determined Ukrainian Sergei Devakov, from the same country that brought you the great pole vaulter Sergei Bubka and the former Manchester United winger Andrei Kanchelskis. They always had an independence of spirit in the Ukraine, even when they were part of the old Soviet Union. And Devakov is fighting with fierce pride here tonight.
Well, but he's got to look for variety in there. He's got to start mixing things up, not hanging around too close to Devakov.
Devakov rather rangier than we were led to believe beforehand. He's got a bit of a reach advantage, and Oliver has to get past that.
Yes, he's quite long. He's got them long arms tucked up on the side of his body and head, and that's difficult for Oliver to find cleanly. He's got to try and make him throw some, find some gaps in the defences of Devakov.
Good right hand from Oliver there. Stun Devakov into attempted retaliatory action, but not very effective action. Bit by bit, you feel Oliver is just cranking himself up to somewhere like top gear.
Yes, maybe that was the wake-up call that he needed. We're just dwelling on his entrance, as lots of distractions can really get to a fighter. But now he's got to concentrate and go about his work.
Well, he's a notoriously slow starter anyway. That's a good point, that, whether he needs that kind of entrance. It might suit Naz, it might not suit him so much.
That's right. All fighters are different. They need different things. But he's just getting back to something like rhythm there. Although he had to take a good right hand from Devakov.
Better from Spencer Oliver. That's more like what he can produce. Starting to let the combinations flow a little. Well, it's been a night of shock so far for Spencer Oliver on the floor in round one, but the third was his best yet.
Yes, this was much better. There was a couple of times he had to take good shots from Devakov, but he's getting himself into gear. Now, there was one of the right hands he took. That was a good punch, but he come firing back enough to win that round and just starting to establish himself.
Here's the fourth round. Such a contrast, really, between these two fighters. Devakov says he hasn't even got enough money to own his own car. Oliver already driving around in a BMW, got himself a new house last year. Everything's going very, very well for him, but of course he has to keep on doing it in the ring. Oliver won round three. That's the first round I've given him. You gave him the second, though, didn't you, as well?
I give him the second and the third. But Devakov still keeps giving him reminders that he's there, and those reminders look pretty good.
One problem that I know the camp are aware of with Spencer Oliver is the possible risk of burnout. He has had a lot of quite tough fights against high-level opposition early on in his career, and I suppose they have to be careful that they pace things right and don't ask too much of him.
Well, that could be a problem. I think this is his 5th European title fight, and it's only his 15th fight. Well, that's going some for a young man.
I think of one or two fighters who had a lot of tough fights early, and then it all kind of went wrong for them. Keith Wallace is one that springs to mind, also a young boxer of the year way back in the early 80s.
Well, it depends on the individual. Some boxers thrive on that competition, need to be in the big fight, need the big occasion to bring the best out of them.
Working better with his jab now, Oliver, and getting close enough to land the right cross too. Devakov's spirit will not be subdued. He fancies this big time, doesn't he?
He does. He's still working. I think the right hand is a danger of Devakov. That looks a good punch. Oliver has to keep that left up and can't afford to relax or be careless.
Some of these punches hitting the gloves from Oliver. Big cheers from his fans further back, but close up here we can see that they're not all getting through by any means. That right hand did, though. Not much in that one.
Football, Sky Sports 1, 2 big games from the Premiership on Sunday. Arsenal, Everton, a win for the Gunners, and they'll be crowned new champions. On Monday from 4:30, the current, maybe outgoing champions, Manchester United, play host to Leeds. Live Premiership double bills Sunday and Monday, Sky Sports 1. Problems for Spencer Oliver here, round 5.
In a fight that's been billed as East meets West. It's not quite the Berlin Wall or John le Carré, but you get the general idea. English fighter against a Ukrainian. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, eh?
Well, I'm having it even at this moment. Everything's still to fight for. Neither one has really got control of this fight. Spencer's fighting back after a disastrous first round.
Oliver will do well to fulfill his prediction that it wouldn't go past halfway. Good accuracy from Oliver.
Well, I think he's got to keep busy. He's got to have good accuracy. He can't afford to waste punches and leave gaps. He's got to keep Devakov busy all the time.
He's lost his balance there, Oliver, when he tried to throw the right hand.
He was loading up for a big one there.
Getting that right hand, which is the best shot Devakov has. We say he's not noted as a big puncher, but he has won half his fights roughly by stoppage or knockout.
Oliver just starting to push Devakov back at that point, but he's having to work hard to do that.
There's no question that Oliver has now put the knockdown well behind him. There's been no sign of him being wobbled or shaken up again. I think he just is a very slow starter, you know.
Well, I think that obviously is a problem, but I think concentration, he's got to keep that. Can't afford any slips. This is a very cagey, dangerous opponent, Devakov.
Quite awkward as well. He's got arms almost like an octopus. He can tangle Oliver up.
Yes, he's long and rangy and seems to have an awful lot of arm that he keeps closely by the side of his body and head, and it's difficult for Oliver to find any gaps.
There's been talk of Spencer Oliver being about to sign a £250,000 4-fight deal with Panic's Promotions. The ink hasn't gone on the contract as yet, but of course all bets are off if he loses here, I guess.
Well, that combination there just seemed to steady Oliver up. He looked to hold, and I think that one hurt him.
Very little in some of these rounds, and a bit of a cut for Devakov. Welcome back to the Royal Albert Hall. Great to have boxing back in this splendid arena, but Spencer Oliver is having his work cut out, and those punches really got through to him there, and he had to give ground.
Yes, he did. They just look as as if those punches shook him up. I think he's feeling these punches. Devakov's an awkward opponent, and he's coming back when Spencer's loading up. He's catching him with good quality shots, and it's getting hard work in there for Oliver.
And this is round 6. Many people thought this was a formality for Spencer Oliver. It doesn't look that way just at the moment. He may have to really work hard here, as he did against Serge Poilblanc and against Vincenzo Belcastro.
Heard again from Oliver. The left hook, the legs are shaky.
Oliver's in trouble here. Caught again, back against those ropes, and Devakov knows now that he can hurt Spencer Oliver. And could this all turn into a nightmare for this much-hyped fighter from North London? That's 2 rounds in a row where Oliver has been shaken up. You have to hope that his legs freshen up and his head clears.
Well, he's been pinned on the ropes. He's looking for a big counter. Oliver found a couple in there.
Devakov fighting with great intensity and pride. And we have to say, we have underestimated this man.
Very much so. The expression on his face never changes. He just keeps doing his job, and at this point he's doing it very well.
We spoke to trainer Dean Powell, who's been around Devakov since he came to London earlier on, didn't we? And he was saying he had a good chance.
Yes, he said he worked so hard in the gym, lots of sparring, was very competitive in all of it, and he's very well prepared.
Another problem Oliver could be having, he did admit at a press conference this week that it's getting very hard for him to make super bantamweight anymore. And I just wonder whether he isn't quite as strong at the weight as he might be. Good rally. He needs it.
Yes, he's being determined here. He's trying to fight back. But it's tough work, and Devakov just keeps letting these punches go.
You do worry about the number of toughish fights that Oliver is having so early in his career, when you think back to the Patrick Mullins one as well as the European title fights. Well, Spencer Oliver defending his European title here, the British fighter, hurt again in round 6, Glenn.
Yes, he was just caught there, right hand, right on the button. The legs were all over the place, but he managed to get through the round, pull himself together. Devakov is starting to pull away with these rounds.
Yellow trunks, Spencer Oliver. Blue, challenger Sergei Devakov, his second attempt to become European champion. He gave Vincenzo Belcastro a pretty tough fight as well. He's doing the same here with Oliver. Here's Glenn's scorecard. Devakov ahead. You've got him ahead by 2. I have him ahead by 3.
Nonetheless, it's the same story. It's not working out well for Spencer Oliver. He's got to try and land the punch that can start turning the tide his way.
Judges, by the way, from Germany, Spain, and a new one on me, Romania. No reason, of course, why we shouldn't have a Romanian judge. I've just never heard of it.
The place over the east.
Yeah, I know where it is.
That right hand has been a good punch for Devakov. The defenses of Spencer Oliver have been open time and time again, and just short little punches from Devakov have exploited that.
Good right hand from Oliver. I think he's struggling a bit with Devakov's style as well, isn't he?
Yes, he's somewhat awkward, and he's not getting his shots off the way he normally does. He's finding it difficult to get close to him, and he's getting caught when he's trying to get close. Then picked up on the way in with shots, Oliver.
The underdog from the Ukraine can sense, I think, at the moment that this might be his night. Spencer Oliver, who's been on the front of magazines and been getting the big publicity treatment, but it all counts for nothing in there. Isn't going to get him out of trouble. Only his boxing ability and heart and will and desire will do that. There's a big right hand he got through with there, though. It was a right cross. Again, it just seemed to bounce off Devakov, though. Blood from the nose of Oliver now, who gets him with a great right. And that made Devakov give ground. That was a good shot from Oliver.
Yes, he's really went for a few big right hands and they've landed, so that may give Oliver a bit of confidence.
Some good action here in the 7th. It's due to go 12. Well, here's a little omen for the omen, maybe. His dad, Jimmy, is in Las Vegas with the Finchley Amateur Boxing Club tonight. He's never missed a Spencer Oliver contest before. And boxers can be a bit superstitious. All sportsmen can.
Boxers very, very much superstitious. But that was a better round, the 7th for Oliver. He just started to pull things back, some good right hands. So maybe he'll get the confidence from that to push forward and start landing with good ones.
And they can't go on with superstitious minds. Here's round 8. Oliver, I think, knows that he needs to really lift this now. He may sense that he could be behind on the scorecards. We think he is. One punch that does seem to be working for Oliver is the right hand. He's working well behind the jab there. This is sharper now from him. Question of whether Devakov can sustain his effort. Good right again from the Ukrainian, though. Well, he looked so ordinary when we last saw him against Carl Allen in Britain that it was impossible to think that he might derail Spencer Oliver, but that really was obviously false form.
Yes, he probably knew that was just a marking time fight for him. There was bigger fights in the pipeline, and he didn't show very much at all. Maybe a crafty fighter to do that, because he's got the fight with Oliver, and he's really putting on a very good show.
Be interested to see what the scorecards of those 3 judges are actually saying at this point. Right hand, I think, hit the glove of Devakov. That one didn't, but it was a bit of a slap.
Well, he's really trying to turn around, pull it back in his favour. Oliver letting these right hands go, but Devakov keeps coming back with his own rights.
Really trying to turn up the pressure. Spencer Oliver now. Good left hook and another one from him too. Just get the impression here that his have been the sharper punches in this round.
That's right, Devakov is coming back with punches, but I think the better looking ones have come from Spencer. Oliver's having to work hard and does look quite tired in this round.
Again, you just wonder about how comfortable he is at this weight. Is a move to featherweight imminent? Of course, they have been talking about he might be the man to beat Prince Nassim Hamid. I don't think he's ready for that yet. That's the scene at the Royal Albert Hall. Devakov with a little cut by the side of his right eye. That is how the computer scores the fight. Devakov, look at the body punches from Devakov, 97-15.
Yes, that's good going for Devakov. They haven't been big body punches, but when he's been in close, he has been working away to the body.
Round 9, the last third of the fight. Fair to say, I think that the outcome will depend on what happens from here on in, because it's close-ish, I'd say. Now you've got it close, Glass. That's
yes,
how I have it.
I've just got one round different, but still in Devakov's favour. But Oliver just gritting his teeth, trying to pull this back.
Fight has just thrown up a little question about Oliver's punch resistance, hasn't it?
Well, I think certainly it has to. He's been on the floor, he's been hurt. So you just wonder the cause of that. Devakov not really regarded as a big puncher, so you wonder about the resistance of Oliver.
That will be a worry for the camp. Jess Harding, his manager, has done such a great job in promoting him as well, to make him a headline artist. Certainly didn't think about coming a cropper here. Devakov is a very hungry fighter as well. He lives in an apartment in Kyiv with his wife and 2 children. As I've said, they don't have a car, they don't have a lot of money. In fact, I think he was doing better when he was an amateur, where they used to give him an apartment and that kind of thing, when he was part of the old Soviet system. So he needs this.
Well, he's fighting like someone that needs it, that's hungry, that wants success. He's trying to take it all away from Spencer Oliver.
Oliver is going to have to dig extremely deep. It's a nice shot, well picked by Oliver.
Yes, that was showing some class there, just nice slip and then thrown in, turned into an uppercut.
Little technical warning from the French referee. They do tend to be a little fussier, some of the continental refs.
Oliver just getting his rhythm going there, getting punches off.
Just picking the shots a little better. Devakov's work. Some of these punches have got a bit of an arm quality about them, haven't they, from the Ukrainian now?
Yes, but even though they're not the best looking punches, he has a decent work rate, Devakov, and keeps getting shots in.
Well, we have a much, much closer fight here at the elegant Royal Albert Hall than we imagined we would have, and this is the reason. Sergei Devakov. Just look how animated they're getting in that corner.
It means a lot to that corner.
Jess Harding must be a worried man. A man who's invested so much. Former British heavyweight title contender, Jess fought Gary Mason for the title. Now a successful businessman and putting that money, or a lot of it anyway, behind Spencer Oliver.
He's really got a lot of belief in Spencer, and he's backed it up with his money.
Most people, I think, around the ringside area have got this roundabout level or 1 point either way at the moment.
Yes, I've got it. There you see it. Bang level, 86 each.
If Oliver does prevail here, it's a fight he'll be mighty glad to get out of the way. He's had to come through 1 or 2 crisis points.
And they might not be over yet, but he has shown character, determination to grit his teeth and fight back in a difficult contest.
Absolutely no telling either how the three judges, Germany, Spain, Romania, may be interpreting all of this. It's often the way of these things, though it shouldn't be, that things tend to go the way of the hometown fighter or the champion if it's a real close one.
Yes, that often happens. The favour just goes on the hometown favour. There was swelling under the eye now developing for Oliver.
Yeah, the left eye. Nothing too much for him to worry about this late on. Oh, he's got him there. That will be the end of it, I think. I doubt if he's going to get up from that. Big shot. And Spencer Oliver can see his boxing future disappearing. It is over. Devakov is the new champion. What a nightmare for Spencer Oliver. Caught with a huge shot, and he's still out like a light, really, there. He tried to get up on instinct, but there was no way he could continue. And Sergei Devakov of the Ukraine has blown Spencer Oliver's boxing world apart.
Well, that's a shattering defeat for Spencer Oliver. He's still lying down. Let's hope that he's okay. It was a terrific right hand from Devakov. He's threatened it all the time. We didn't think he had the power to be able to upset Oliver, but he's done it, and he's done it in tremendous fashion.
Well, let's just hope that Spencer Oliver is okay. That was a bad knockout. Superb punch, but it does worry you. Oh, poleaxing right hand, and there could never be any further action after that.
It's a big shot. He didn't have a lot of room to get it in, but he really landed it with force, just down the side of the head and straight down, and there was no way Oliver was going to beat the count.
And this day of sporting shocks and upsets continues.
Well, he's leaning up onto his elbow now, Oliver, so one hopes that he's okay.
He tries to get up. This is just his instinct. Doesn't know where he is. Thank goodness the French referee stopped him trying even to fight on. He's getting oxygen treatment, and the medical backup now is second to none, really, in Britain. And you hope that really that he's taken off for a precautionary check at hospital, as Chris Eubank was after that debilitating fight with Carl Thompson the other night. But well, give credit to this man, Sergei Devakov. Nobody gave him a serious chance, but he has really produced a huge upset to become European super bantamweight champion, and the crowd here are absolutely stunned. And you wonder, really, Spencer Oliver is only 23, but it's going to be tough to come back from that.
It is going to be tough, but fighters can come back from knockouts and shattering defeats. They certainly can, so let's hope he can pull his career back around again. But that was an awful defeat, and maybe it was on the cards from the very beginning when he was hurt so very early off this man. But a tremendous victory for Devakov. He came here without little hope, worked very hard, been in the gym in London for 3 weeks, a lot of sparring with good class fighters, and it's all paid off for him.
Well, I think if Oliver ever does come back, I don't think it'll be at super bantamweight again. I think it'll be moving up to featherweight. I'm sure that will be cited as one of the reasons for his performance. He did look very vulnerable, really, right from the word go tonight. He seemed to have fought his way back in the fight and have a chance of winning it, and then that right hand to conclude the arguments emphatically. You just hope now, the main thing is that this man, who has a little 2-year-old son called Kane, lives with his girlfriend at home, Louise, and you just hope he's all right to go home. Jess Harding, it's a terrible, terrible night for him, who's invested so much time, effort and energy into promoting Spencer Oliver, and, well, there are tears there.
It's a big, big disappointment for all concerned.
But this is the reality of boxing, and you know, the thing is, Glenn, you'll still get people who don't know this business who'll come up to you and trying to tell you that the fights are fixed and it's all pre-scripted. You wouldn't pre-script that, would you?
This is the toughest game of all. This is where failure really hurts, not just mentally but physically as well. It's a massive disappointment for a fighter to get beat in those circumstances, when really this was all set out to be his big night, pushed into the big time, and it's all gone terribly wrong.
And he's still being treated in the ring. I remember at this arena the awful knockout that Jim McDonnell suffered against Kenny Weiss, when we really did worry very, very seriously about his future health. Luckily, Jim made a full recovery from all of that, and we just hope Spencer Oliver's okay. This is not such a serious case, I think, is that he seems to be up and conscious, and I think they're just taking due time in making sure that is he okay, and I'm sure he'll be taken off to hospital for some checks.
Yes, I think they're not going to move Spencer until he's fully capable. You know, they're going to give him every time to pull himself together, and yes, I'm sure he will be watched over and checked.
Well, it all started as a great night out for the Spencer Oliver fans who came here in their hundreds to watch him. And they're now going to turn the lights down so that the ring is cooled down for Spencer Oliver.
Well, he does seem to have been laying back down again, so I'm not sure, but
this doesn't look so good. But
it doesn't. They're gonna
I hope that they've just told him to lie down. But we do now have some rather more urgent medical attention being administered, and I'm afraid to tell you that this does not look so good. He was sitting up a moment or two ago, and we're being told to clear a path at ringside for him. He really was a big, big punch, and Devakov here is finding that his moment of triumph has now turned into concern and worry for the well-being of his opponent. That has to be the main concern of us all now, never mind the comparatively trifling matter of who or who isn't European super bantamweight champion. We're now talking about a situation where a man's very health and well-being appear to be on the line. We just hope and pray that Spencer Oliver is okay.
Well, it does look much more serious now, Ian. They are lying him down and still giving him oxygen, and he's very much in the prone position.
And great concern all around the ring. These fans who thought that they'd be coming here tonight to cheer another Spencer Oliver triumph. There are paramedics at ringside now. That is a prerequisite of the British Boxing Board of Control, which wasn't always the case in the bad old days. The safety measures here are really quite excellent, with boxers having to take MRI brain scans every year. But of course, at this moment, the main thing is that Spencer Oliver is, I would say, they need to get him